Hello, 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 everybody again. Happy Saturday. So excited to be here for the Empowered ECE. I think we're on episode number 4 and it is going by really, really quickly. So I will be meeting with Jalila of Jalila's Art Studio, CEO of that. And I'm so excited to be here because we're going to be talking about art. Art is something in ECE that we all do. We all provide art experiences for children in our classrooms, but we tend to do it as something as a regular activity that we just need to do. But it's time to kind of pull back, reanalyze the importance of art education in our classrooms. And I'm so excited to have this conversation with her to get into the deep understanding of why art is so important. So for future episodes, I had mentioned before that if at any time there is a topic that you are looking to be covered, maybe something that's happening in the workplace that you would love to be discussed, don't ever hesitate to send me a message via DM or email me and my team, because we are always looking for relevant and new subjects to cover. If you don't know this already, the Empowered ECE is all about discussing things that are both comfortable and uncomfortable as well. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out. For future episodes, we have quite a few episodes coming up. So we have a technology and ECE episode coming up really soon. We have a few solo episodes for me as well. So I will be doing some episodes about self-publishing and my journey as an author and how you can jump into self-publishing your own children's book. I'll be doing an episode about leadership in ECE for those that are looking to get into leadership as a supervisor, as an owner, or is maybe very new to the leadership field and is looking for a little bit of a pep talk on how to step into that role. So lots of amazing and juicy stuff coming up soon, and I'm excited for it. Oh, and I see our guest in the audience, so we'll wait for her to pop up. At any time, if you have any questions about the guest that I'm speaking with, do not hesitate to drop some questions in that chat box. I will try my best to catch all of them and all of the comments and to be sure that we get your questions answered. So let's get started. Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you? Happy Saturday.
I'm good. Happy Saturday. We won't bring up the mistake that I made earlier.
We both made it, but I can't do anything on my end, you know?
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're here now.
Right.
We're good. We're ready to go.
Absolutely. And I'm so delighted to have you here. We've been connected for quite some time, and I've been absolutely captivated by everything you do and how passionate you are about our art education in ECE and early learning. And, I have worked in the field for many years, and I know sometimes as an educator, especially when you don't have an art focus, sometimes art can be a project or something that you just get over and you just do every day. But I want to bring back and revive educators into rethinking that art is so important and it's critical to early education. So there's no better guest to have than you, of course.
Oh,
the queen of art, I must say.
Thank you. And ditto as well. Yeah, I love following your story and seeing your growth and all the good things that you have going on. Like, you're such like a light, like a leader. You're a leader in this industry, and I enjoy watching and being a part of it. And thank you for having me. When I saw you post that you were going to be doing this series, just in general, I was just like, I love that idea. Can I be a part of it? I was just super excited when I saw you just post it, because originally you got kind of post like a teaser, if I'm not mistaken. And I just got like so excited. So I'm glad that you went ahead and did it, because I definitely feel like there's a need for early childhood educators on social media, the presence and like filling that gap. So yeah, I definitely think like this is like a great series, and I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And thank you for coming. So let's jump right in there. So let's start with you introducing yourself. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Yes, so that's a great place to start, right? So yeah, so my name is Jalila. I am located in Brooklyn, New York. I am currently an early childhood art educator at a public school in New York City. That is my 9 to 5, even though school hours aren't really 9 to 5, but whatever.
Right.
That's my day job. And then my night job, my 5 to forever, is Jalila's Art Studio, which is helping diverse families connect and bond through art. And what I do here is an online community. I need to say that specifically because sometimes I've gotten messages about people asking me where am I located, and it's not a location. Julia's Art Studio is currently an online community that helps diverse children and families bond and connect through art. And what that looks like is me providing resources such as ebooks and video tutorials for families to get creative with their children on their own time. A lot of my digital products tend to revolve around artists from different backgrounds and nationalities, because that is something that is very important to me, is bringing that exposure piece to children, because I want children to be able to see themselves in artists around the world, and also bringing in that culture piece. And then I also host online family paint nights, which is a virtual online event in which families and caregivers and their children, we connect and we paint like these really fun paintings. My last family paint night was in February. And currently I am shifting into some new things for Jalila's Art Studio that I will not mention just yet.
No problem.
But yes, if you are interested, please sign up for my email list, so that way you can receive all updates first.
Beautiful, amazing, amazing. So take us through your ECE journey when you, or not your early childhood, your art journey. Where did it all start for you?
Since I came out the womb.
Love it.
Since I came out the womb, honestly, so I've been working with children all my life. This career is something that honestly chose me. I did not choose it at all. I would say my earliest memory was basically I was a teenager and my mom had an after school program in our house, in our basement here in Brooklyn. I don't live with them currently, but I used to come home from after school, from college, and no, I think I was in high school. I would just come home and I would just like rush home to help her. And a lot of the parents like would tell me and would tell my mom like, Jalila's really good with the kids. Like she needs to become a teacher. And then a teacher used to send her son to my mom's after school program. And she pulled me to the side and she told me, she was like, you're going to college for education. And I was like,
okay.
I was like, okay. And like, honestly, like, I was like, you know what, she's right. And, you know, in high school, I did like a lot of babysitting. And parents would just always tell me like, it wasn't something like I was thinking about at that time as a young, you know, teenager, but they would just kept telling me like, my kid loves to spend time with you. Can you babysit? They have so much fun with you. They always come back and tell me, you know, what a vibe it was. And so it just kind of went from there. And so that was like the beginning. And then I went on to study childhood education. And from there, when I was in college, I worked full time. So I went to school full time and I worked full time, which I honestly, I don't know how I did it, but I did. And I worked in so many different settings. I worked in charter schools, private school, daycare, after school program, now currently the Board of Education. And also, like I said, I work with my mom and like a lot of babysitting stuff in between. So like, that's really like my journey. I always gravitated toward the younger children. You know, older children, you know, they're cool, but you know, the little ones, you know, that's my jam. And so that's, I've done kindergarten, pre-K. Currently now I do pre-K and 3K visual arts. And yeah, that's just kind of just like how the story went. Like that's like my whole resume is just school, like institutions, educational institutions.
Yes.
Like that's it.
I love it. And I love how well-rounded you are with the
Yeah.
different age groups. So you've basically seen art and education from all of these years and these time spans for children. So it really gives you that oomph when it comes to what you do now, I bet.
Well, let me clarify. So I did not start teaching art until 2016.
Okay, got it. Got it. Still a long time though.
Yes, yeah. So I've been in the school settings. My resume starts from 2006, 2005. And I did basically what we call here, I don't know what you guys call it in Canada, but basically like I was just considered a classroom teacher. So basically I just taught.
Like an assistant, like a support.
I was a teacher. I was just a kindergarten teacher. I did kindergarten, I did pre-K, and I did early childhood. Yeah, they just called me a teacher. So
awesome.
yeah, and then art was in 2016 at my current school, which I am till this day. And
yeah, love it. So speaking of art, let's get into that now.
Let's get into it.
So so
I got my notes. I'm ready.
Love it. Love it.
I'm ready.
So tell me, why is art education and art so important in your opinion?
In my opinion, is it okay if I look at my notes?
Of course.
Okay.
Don't worry. We're having a chat.
Because the thing about it is like I don't want to forget anything that's important. Okay, so what makes art so important in early childhood what makes it so important is that it really covers all academic areas. It encompasses history. Art encompasses math. It encompasses ELA. I don't know what they call it in Canada, but English. Yeah, we call ELA, reading, writing. It encompasses science. It encompasses so many academic areas that it is like an essential piece, I believe, in the early childhood education classroom. Because it encompasses all of these areas, I don't know, it's just so necessary to have. Like you just have to have it. Ask me the question again. Did I answer it? I hope I answered it.
Yeah, you did. No. It was just why, art education is so important to children. And I know that there's a creativity piece, right? Like it allows children to just be open and be expressive. I'm sure you've seen that with children you've done. I'd love to hear about that. Like what happens when you bring an art activity out for children?
So what happens is, first of all, art is also important in the classroom because it also builds self-esteem and it builds their pride. And what happens is when I bring out, children come to me in my school, so they come into the room. So first of all, number one, they're excited, right? They're interested and they're curious, which is something that is also very important within the early childhood education classroom. You want your children to be curious. You want them to be excited about what they are about to do, because what we call that is a positive approach to learning, right? It starts in the early childhood classroom where, this is the attitude that they're going to bring with them for the rest of their lives when they step into a learning environment. So you definitely want them to be curious and, engage. The second thing that happens is that they are learning how to attend, and they're learning how to engage. So what happens is, like, the way that I do my lessons is that I will demonstrate what we are about to do. The thing with this, though, I'm gonna speak on this. The thing with this is I try not to demonstrate too much, because then that takes away the creativity. And I've had students go back to their tables and do exactly what I did in like 2.5 seconds. They do it really fast, and they're like, "Miss Jalila, I'm done." And I'm like, are you done, or did you really just do what I did? And like, that's the end of it. So with demonstration, it's important because it causes them to attend, and engage and to really focus. And it's also the beginning of them learning how to follow steps, right? Which is also a key milestone with young children. You know, when we tell them, hey, go over to the art center, get that scissors, come back to the table and, you know, begin cutting. You just gave like 3 instructions in like one breath.
Yeah,
So like,
right.
yeah, you did. So like that encourages that attending and engaging piece. The second part about it is that's with the demo. Now when it's time to work, because that's what I have in my classroom, we do demo, we do work time, and then we do, I call it discussion, reflection, reflect and share. So during work time, what happens is that independence piece. And this is very crucial within the early childhood classroom, because it really, if you step back, right, if you don't hover over them, if you don't micromanage, which is something that I have written down, which is something that we tend to do as adults, we want to rescue and step in and save them when we see them, you know, struggling to hold a pencil, or when we see them struggling to operate a scissors or hold a paintbrush or maneuver a piece of clay. When we see them struggling, this is the time to just like step back and let them work it out. Work it out, problem solving. This is also a big key in our education. This is also why our education is so important inside of the classroom, because it really allows children to problem solve in a safe way. If you have a work table that's all covered and protected, if you have a specific area, even in your home, that is, you know, designated for art creation, why not let them make a mess? Why not let them screw around a little bit? Why not let them make mistakes? It's a safe place. That area is designated for that. And what happens is, when they are successful with working through their challenges, this is where you see that confidence really come in. This is where you see that pride come in. This is where you see another notch on their self-esteem belt come in. And that is where, that's what I define as success within my classroom. You know, not what the final project looked like. That's great. But the process and what really went into it, and how they were able to attend, engage, problem solve, and really work through on their own. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we never help them, because of course there are certain ways that, like, there is a correct way to hold the scissors, right? Like, so if I see them struggling, I might walk over, do a quick hand over hand. I talk about, you know, the thumb into the small, the 4 into the, you know, the bigger piece. And then I step away again. So it's like, it's not like you never help them, but you want to try not to like do it for them, which I've seen teachers do. And it just grinds my gears. But I get it. The thing about it, and I don't fault teachers, right? Because the thing about it is, we're working within such a limited time frame within the early childhood classroom. There's so many things that are required of teachers, and there's so many things that is going on, and so many requirements. Like, you know, you have to have your bulletin boards up to date. You have to have your data collection in. You have to manage, if you work with a team, you have to manage, you know, team dynamics. You have to put down cots. You got to serve the lunch. You got to clean the tables. You got to make sure all the. So I get it that, you know, it's sometimes during work time. I'm probably getting into another part of the.
No. You keep going. You're
hitting
the nail on all the heads. You keep going.
I know that the easiest thing to do is just like do it for them, but sometimes it's not always like the best thing to do. You know. I do have a tip for that, but I want you to go ahead and ask your questions. I don't want to just keep.
No. You're getting it. You're getting it. Let me tell you, you're giving me goosebumps, because you're saying things that I know educators want and need to hear. Especially you acknowledging that the classroom is busy. We know there's so many things to do, so many expectations, and that's just the work expectations. Then you have parent expectations on top of that. So I get the understanding, and I get the idea of just getting it done and moving on to the next thing. But you really labeled some really important pieces, a lot of them, but a lot of the most important one you labeled was just the success that happens when you let children just create and just open up and just trial and error and problem solve. There's so much learning that happens in that one art experience, and that's what I really wanted to take home for that. Anyways, you nailed it. When it comes to art, is just seeing more into an art experience. There's so much more than just paint and the paper. It's confidence, self-confidence, it's problem solving, it's mathematics, like you said, all of those good things. But yeah, you're good, don't worry.
Okay, good.
So my next question for you is, what makes you passionate about art, do you think?
Okay, I have my list because I had to thought about it. So first of all, the number one thing that makes me passionate about art is that it's fun. Mm-hmm. I'm a good time girl. I love a good time. You know, I love excitement. I'm a Sag, so they say we like movement, and I believe it.
Really?
Yeah, I love movement. I love to be doing things. So first and foremost is that it's fun. That is just like the key to my heart. I'm like the kids, not for nothing. That's why I probably work with children.
I was just about to say that.
I like things that are fun. Kids like things that are fun. Is it fun? Is it engaging? Is there, is it fun? That's number one. That's one of I think like the biggest reason. Well, actually it's not the biggest. I know the reason. The other thing why I'm passionate about art is because I love the flexibility and the freedom and the open-endedness that comes with planning an art curriculum. Within a classroom, I've taught academic subjects before. Mm-hmm. Typically what happens is that the students that you have in 2008, when you get a new set of students in 2009, you're teaching the same thing. You're teaching the same content. You're teaching the same way to learn how to read. You're learning the same way. You're teaching the same content with math. You're teaching the same content within social studies. Within art, what excites me is that there's nothing for me to follow but my intuition but the children's interest. And it's actually a subject that not the biggest. I know the reason. The other thing why I'm passionate about art is because I love the flexibility and the freedom and the open-endedness that comes with planning an art curriculum. Within a classroom, I've taught academic subjects before. Mm-hmm. Typically what happens is that the students that you have in 2008, when you get a new set of students in 2009, you're teaching the same thing. You're teaching the same content. You're teaching the same way to learn how to read. You're learning the same way. You're teaching the same content with math. You're teaching the same content within social studies. Within art, what excites me is that there's nothing for me to follow but my intuition but the children's interest. And it's actually a subject that my principal really can't tell me that X, Y, and Z needs to be taught. As long as I am teaching to the standards, which is super important, right? You don't want to just be teaching just for teaching's sake. You want to be making sure that when you're teaching, it's measurable and that you can determine what milestones children are hitting. But aside from that, if I don't feel like teaching about Basquiat this year and I want to teach about Alma Thomas this year instead, there's no repercussion. That's what I love the most about art within the education system, like actually being inside of a school setting. Now there are a few things that I always keep like within my art curriculum because I feel like they're just super necessary for the children to take away with each school year. But for the most part, every school year I switch it up. I add in new things. I take away new things. Take away. It's very open-ended, which is, why I'm passionate about art. Yeah, I'm checking my notes, making sure. I am also super passionate about art because I love to see the growth and confidence within my students. I love to see how a child at the beginning of the school year may be lacking confidence when they come into the art room. and how they build that confidence by June. I also love seeing, I've had students who come in, they're very confident, but they're not very detail oriented when it comes to their work. And then by June, they have learned how to pay attention to certain things, how to slow down with their work, because that's a very common thing for young children, is to do their art really, really fast, because they just want to know what's next and what center they can go to. So yeah, I love those. Like, yeah, these are the reasons why I'm passionate about art.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Amazing. So I know that there's many reasons why I wanted to do this episode. A, because art is so important. Another reason is because I've worked in many different capacities, a lot of them leadership roles. And I find that the art part of early education, stepping into those classrooms and program planning, seems to be the part that lacks the most. And mainly it's because we're losing touch with what's important when it comes to art education, especially in early childhood. So what are some tips you have for teachers that are looking to improve in their art work and in their experiences and their projects? What are some tips that you have for them?
Okay, I have my tips here. Okay, so my first tip for teachers within the early childhood education field. Can I just ask you a question before I give my answer? Because I have family in Canada, ironically, but I've never been into a school setting. I've just visited. Like in you guys' schools in early childhood, do you guys do center time, like how we do center time?
Yep. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
With that being said, so one of the tips that I have for teachers is to rotate art materials within the art center throughout the year. So I would say every 3 months or so. So from September to December, you leave one set. And then, but maybe when you come back from break in January, you rotate a new set. And then from January to March, you leave that. And then at the end of March, you switch out the materials again. And then you keep that system going until June. This really helps bring a freshness and an excitement to art, and also announcing and letting the children know that you're switching out the materials. Kids love announcements within the classroom. They love announcements. They love when you make a big deal about things. So maybe bringing them over to the carpet area and showing them this is what Mr. Leela is putting in the art center for you guys this time around, and maybe doing a demo of the new materials that you're putting in, so that way they understand how to use them, because that's also a big problem, that you put things in and then you turn around and tape is on Timmy's forehead and you're like, whoa, like that is not how we use the tape. So maybe taking the time to show them how to use each material that you're putting in, so that way there's a familiarity. I had to break that down with the new materials. I also highly suggest open-ended art materials. So open-ended art material tends to be some things that we can find around the house, or things that we might throw out, or things that can be used in more than one way, which I'm sure a lot of I'm sure a lot of educators know this, but it's just a good reminder. So things like toilet paper rolls, things like tissue boxes, empty egg cartons, branches. I love to bring in a lot of things from nature into the art center and kind of encourage children to create with them in a way that actually you don't even have to encourage them. Just put it there for them and just see what happens. Just see what happens. I also wrote as a tip. You guys ready?
Oh yeah.
To relinquish the need to have art always mean something or be something.
Love it.
It does not always have to be or mean, or they don't always have to have something to say about what they created. And I get it. I think this goes back to all of the expectations that are placed on teachers within a classroom and within centers, of this expectation of what standard does it meet, and what did they say about it, and what was the date, and can I see what they created before? I know that there's a lot that's placed on teachers, so I get it. But sometimes just it doesn't always have to mean something. Let them explore. Let them play. Let them experiment. Let them try new things. Speaking of which, I don't have this written down, but this is a great tip that it helps me even in my art practice. I tend to place, this is like actually one of my favorite things to do. I tend to place like books that have like resources. And guys, like books that are filled with art projects, books that are, you know, what I do is I photocopy it. I'll photocopy a few pages. Obviously, they're illustrated, so that way the kids can follow along on their own. Laminate those pages, and also put those in the art center, because it gives them an idea of what to create, what to do. And they love that. They love, especially when they're successful, after looking at their sheet and seeing that they were able to make something similar to what they see. That is like such a confidence boost, right? And it also helps encourage children who like to say, I don't know what to make. I don't know. I don't know what to make. I don't know what to, you know, I don't know what to do. You know, you could be like, oh, well, lucky for you, I have these beautifully laminated sheets of all these different ideas of what you can do, right? So like there's an entry level and a point, you know, for everybody. And here in New York, a lot of those books I get at the dollar store. So like you don't even have to like, you know, spend all this money. I know Amazon is like the GOAT, and like, you know, they ship things to us. Amazon's a good place too, but there are a lot of books at Dollar Tree here in New York where you can just like go get a book. I could grab some for you, but I'm not going to get up, and put photocopy pages and put them out. And it really helps to like freshen up and give ideas and inspiration to the art center. Any more tips, or should I stop?
Oh, you're good. You're good. We can go all day. You know me. You can go all day.
I know,
you know,
but I know you have other questions, so I don't want to like.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, I realize it's not just teachers here. We've got some parents in here, and actually somebody dropped a question. Yeah, somebody dropped a question, and I hope you don't mind if we just go ahead and answer. So the question is, any tips on what to do with all the art that children bring home?
So funny. So first of all, I know her. She's hi Jennifer, and her daughter Khalees. They come to my family paint night, so that's number one. Number two, what's funny enough is that I'm actually going to post a video about this week as I was doing my content. So that's just so funny. But yes, so I do have tips on what to do with all that art that they bring home. So I'm just going to say this. I have 3 tips. But the first one, some of it we just have to throw away. Some of it we that's just number one. Some of it we just have to throw away. And how I determine what to throw away is I tend to do the oldest first. So like if they made it this year, you might want to keep that. But if you've had it, this is 2022, if you had it since like 2018, 2017, if the pages are yellowing, you know, if it's curled up, if it's ripped up, you want to toss that. Another tip that I have in terms of storing children's artwork, I highly recommend this website called artsonia.com. I use them within my teaching practice, and it's a website not only for teachers, but for family members as well, which I love because you can build that parent engagement piece if you are a teacher. And what it is a website that allows you to create a digital portfolio for your child. So you literally can just, if you're a mom, dad, caregiver, you could take a picture of their work. You could create an account for them, and it creates a digital portfolio of all your children's work. You can ask your child after you upload, hey, what do you have to say about this? It's collecting their artist statement. So you collect their artist statement, you type it in on the iPad, and then the fun part about it, Sonia, is then you can also then invite like family members near and far, grandmas, grandpas, uncles. You can invite them to then create an account with Artsonia, become a fan of your child's work, and then they can see what your child created, right? And then this gives you the opportunity to then, you're making connections, you're storing their artwork. So then also when they're not looking, you can toss it if that is what you desire, because it's a great way to save space And then you're also, you know, it just becomes a family affair, right? So that's what my second tip. And then my third tip, I'm giving my content away, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and make a video about it.
People
It's
are going to be
framing.
looking for it now, so it's all
Yes.
good.
Yes. Yes. Look, it's going to come up this week. And then my third tip is framing it. Framing the work takes the work off of the floor and onto the wall. So that way you're saving space. And you can buy frames for super cheap. I've gotten frames from the dollar store all the way up until Amazon, Home Goods. I know you guys have stores similar to, like,
Yeah,
you know,
pretty much, yes.
Yeah, you get them really cheap and you hang them up on the wall, and that saves space, and that also creates pride for the child.
Yes.
And also creates like a museum kind of feel.
Yes.
You know, inside of the home. If you dedicate one wall, dear God, let them only have one wall. Let them have one wall and dedicate that wall to framed pictures, framed artwork. And it really saves space. Now all of the artwork is off from a pile on the floor and it's onto the walls.
Oh,
so those are my 3 tips.
I love it. And I know there's a ton of parents on here that just took that sigh of relief when you said that you can throw it out.
Throw it out.
It's okay. You can after a while. You don't have to keep a chest or a closet full of artwork that the children don't even remember they did anymore. And don't feel bad about it.
No, just, you know, yeah, no. Honestly, you know, what my mom used to do with me and my sister also was like, bring them in on that, right? Like, go through it with them. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Do you want to keep this?
Right?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep this? Do you like this? You know, and make a rule that something that can help is like, through this pile, we have to throw out 10 things. You could just say it like that. So that way they know that, you know, a certain amount has to go out, and go through it together. That's also like a great way. Like, it doesn't have to be like a, you know, a sneaky thing. You know, you could do it that way also. Like, that's a good way.
Right. Oh, wow. Amazing tips. And I love that website. What was the name of that website again?
Artsonia. So
Artsonia.
So ARTSOINA.com. And if you don't, I use them all the time. I love them and parents love them. And the fun thing, oh my God, how can I forget? Oh, and the fun thing about Artsonia is that you can also then purchase memorabilia with your children's artwork on it. So you can have t-shirts, mugs. There you go. She put it up. Yep, artsonia.com. T-shirts, mugs, all kinds of things. You can get your child's artwork, put it on it. So it's like it's a fun, you know, way to like really like connect with families. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, great. So sliding back into the educator. So if you can give one piece of advice to educators that are possibly feeling very stuck when it comes to art and adding art, you know, education in their classrooms, what would be that one piece of advice you have for them?
Focus on the process, not the product. Focus on the process and not the product. And encourage your children to create art in a judgment-free zone. Take the pressure off. I know it's kind of hard, guys, because I know that we've got all these admin looking at us and taking notes and judging us and everything like that. But that is my biggest observation with educators, because we tend to, it's Christmas coming up, so we need to do a Christmas, cute Christmas craft. Let me go on to Pinterest or something, get a really cute idea. We're gonna just all do the same thing, and then, you know, that's the art. That is focusing on the product. Yeah. And while I do believe that those kind of projects do have a place in the classroom, because a lot of admin I hear, they like to say like, oh, this is cookie cutter, this and that. I understand that, you know, but, you know, I do believe like those kind of projects do serve a place. They make people happy. They make the parents happy. They love to see the little Christmas star with their children's photo in the middle to hang on the tree. And we don't care that all the other kids have a Christmas star ornament too. We're happy to receive it. It does serve a place. However, that should not be the only time that we are creating art with the children. That should not be the only time when we are thinking about the art center. That should not be the only time when we're encouraging the children to come over to the art table to create. It should be process focused and not what is the end result. And that goes back to like what I was saying. Don't always worry about, what do they have to say about it? What is it? Right? Don't worry about what it is or what it looks like or what it doesn't look like. Allow them to just explore and relinquish that, that need, for it to be something. Because funny enough, that's actually what art isn't about.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be something. So yeah, that is like my number one tip. Focus on the process and not the product. I'm trying to think. I want to answer how to do that, because in my mind, that's what comes up. If I was a teacher, I'd be like, how do I do that? I am a teacher. I would say you do that through exploration of materials and creating a safe space, like a literal safe space, like designate a space, cover it down, make the materials accessible, and allow them to do that. And if that means that one child wants to sit there repeatedly jabbing his marker, creating dots over and over and over, and it doesn't even look like something to you, that is process versus product. And that is what's super important. If a child wants to sit there ripping paper and creating a pile of ripped paper, that's the process versus the end result. Allow them to enjoy that. Allow them to explore that.
Yeah.
That's building their fine motor skills. That's building their attending and their engagement. Just that ripping, so allow them to do that and then celebrate it.
Yeah.
Also.
Wow. Amazing. You dropped some gems, let me tell you. You dropped some amazing gems, and literally it's funny because actually yesterday, my nephew, he's in childcare, and they created this beautiful artwork with like letters. So the teacher had cut out letters, and he brought it home, and yesterday he was just playing and he cut the letter, he ripped the letter C in half. And I was like, oh no, you broke it. But then he looked at me, he said, letter J. So it's just like letting children just
Booyah!
Right? I was like, oh my goodness, first of all, because he's not even 3 yet. So I was like, oh my God, you know your letters. But it's just like letting children just be. That's it. Let them be and be in the moment. I see Marcia says, don't be afraid of making a mess sometimes, which we are absolutely afraid of. We're not even going to lie. We're worried about the mess and the outcome, but you nailed it. Just what happens in that process is so much more important than anything else in the world when it comes to art.
I love it. I love that story. And what's also important about that story, not only does he know his letters, he turned it into something else. It also lets you know sometimes like we place more meaning on their artwork or their things more than them. Which is why it might also be okay to throw things out sometimes. Sometimes like it just wasn't that serious to him. It
served its purpose. It served its purpose. Yes.
We did this all together. Now I'm gonna rip it, and now it's something else.
And that's okay. It just happened yesterday, so that's what reminded. I remember my thought when he did. I was like, "Oh no, your letter C." He's like, "It's a J." I'm like, "Okay, you got this. I'll take a seat."
I love it. How old is he?
He is 2 and a couple of months. Yeah, 2 and a couple of months. Yeah, not 3 yet. Yeah.
So he's so fun. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love that story.
Gosh.
That's just so cute.
I know. So yes, gems in the comments. So you dropped some amazing gems. So the very last thing I'm going to ask you is I always like to ask guests if they have any exciting and new things coming up and do a promo pitch of anything you want people to start following you with and maybe join or be a part of.
So currently right now, like I mentioned in the beginning of this session, I am working on a lot of new things within Jalila's Art Studio because I recognize that the need is changing and I need to step things up just a little bit. So currently, things are being changed. I'll give you a hint. Some products are being worked on versus only services. So currently, if you are an educator who's watching right now, if you are a caregiver who is watching right now and you want to know, like, what can I do with my child? How can I get tapped in? What can I do, to get creative right now within my home, within my classroom? Head over to my website. Go ahead and click the link in my bio. Sign up for my email list. When you sign up for my email list, you will receive a promo code, a welcome promo code for anything on my website. And there on my website, I have a ton of digital resources and products, ebooks, coloring sheets, journals that you and your family can use right now. But the only way you can get the discount code is if you sign up for my email list. So step 1, sign up for the email list. Step 2, get your promo code. Step 3, you get all access to all things Jalila's Art Studios. I have lesson plans there, flashcards, all kinds of good things that you can access right now. And the good thing is when you sign up for the email list, you are also then privy to all the new things that are coming to Jalila's Art Studio. You get to know everything that happens first. Okay, so right now the key is the email list. So go ahead and sign up and access that. Also check out my blog. I have posts that are super helpful for families, for educators, and also check me out on YouTube. If you go over to YouTube, all of my social media handles are the same on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just type in Jalila's Art Studio. I have some really good video tutorials up there of things that you can create in your classroom or at home. It's up to you.
Love it. So my parents and educators, follow this queen of art. I'm going to call you that now, by the way. The queen of art, because I'm just loving it. I love how passionate.
I receive it.
I'm loving the passion for art. I'm loving the reminders. I just know that there's a ton of ECEs, especially that we're just waiting to hear the things that you've said. So I'm so happy that we're going to actually be posting the recording of this, so everyone will have an opportunity to watch it again and again and again. And be sure you're following her and join that mailing list, because you do not want to miss out on all of the amazing sauce that she has.
You don't. You guys don't. Some new things are coming. I cannot wait. To share.
Love it. Well, it was so we could definitely talk all day, but it's okay. Maybe we'll book another session another day.
I see it already.
Right? But absolutely, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. This has been an idea in my mind for a while to have a conversation about art, and I'm so excited that I was able to reach out to you and have you here, because art is so important, and you've just proved it again, how important art is, and just opening up that dialogue that needed to happen. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best, because I know that this is gonna continue to soar and take off. I know it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, great. Thanks again. Thank you everyone for joining. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Anisha.
Bye.
Bye.